Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And today we're just doing a full season of Chucky review. Chucky 1, season 1 review that was on TV recently. And the last episode premiered this week, episode 8. And we reviewed that. And this is a review of the season as a whole. And for your information, there will be a season 2 coming next year.
Unfortunately.
I don't know when. And so, whatever, I can only hope. I have no expectations that it could be better, worse, or the same as what this one was. So, okay, that was disgusting and gross.
That's what I think of this. That's what I think of this show, though.
It is lunchtime on a Saturday, and here we go. Well, we did do. I mean, the reviews that we did for each episode, I would say they were very thorough.
Yeah, but no, Safi, just pull back. Let's zoom out and look at the full picture of the season.
I am. I just was going to say that we did do very thorough, I would think, and say in-depth reviews on each episode. And so we can, if you do what Marco just said and step back and look at everything if in a full picture, you can kind of say the whole show had an arc, and that was not a good one. And that it kind of started off as a pretty good whole season story, maybe characters, and it started to go up, and then it quickly reached a plateau without it even going into the middle of the. I mean, you're talking about 8 episodes, and we can also figure that into the equation too, is that's just too few of episodes to tell a decent story that really, to be fair, and I don't care what anybody says, and they can, if they don't want to admit it, and they don't want to admit it, I don't know, but the writers ought to know better that they need more episodes than 8.
A lot more episodes. Safi.
You can't tell a really good story without, you're leaving things out.
This is what TV was made for. TV is supposed to be long form storytelling. Like, whether you like it or not, that's what TV was made for. And I'm really getting sick of seeing people basically turning the idea of TV shows into basically what is extended movies. And I mean, that's what all TV shows are like nowadays. You look at like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. You have these lazy asses bragging that they ended the show like at a certain point and that they only did a certain amount of episodes, as if that's something to be proud of. And really, it's not. It's probably one of the most embarrassing things I've seen. And I mean, it's even almost worse than, political and social agendas. This, like, laziness and this, like, short-sightedness to just make TV shows movies, essentially. Like, if you look at TV shows from the past, like, Leave It to Beaver, that show had, like, 30 episodes a season. And that's why that show's always going to be remembered. But then you have like a show like Breaking Bad, and Safi, did you know that Aaron Paul, Aaron Paul, Safi?
Yep.
He said that nobody's going to remember Breaking Bad in 10 years. I mean, and it's true, because it's like the show's 5 measly seasons of a couple episodes a season. So like, why would people remember that over a show like, I don't know, Smallville, or something like that
Buffy.
Actually Monk, Buffy, Psych. There's so many shows that try to go above and beyond, and even though they make mistakes sometimes, at least they take the chances. But then you have shows like Chucky, and it's almost like the person who made it, he's either not capable of making a full season of television, or he just wants to suffocate his creativity so
Well,
that he can blend in with the TV crowd nowadays.
it's not just his creativity. It stifles the actors' performances because, let's say, they start an arc, a personality arc, a character arc,
Oh, you mean like Lexi?
and they get stifled
Yeah.
because the
They don't
seasons
have
are
time.
short. They don't have time,
Yeah.
and you look at Junior. I don't even know what to say because it's kind of like back ass words. In other words, he had nothing at the beginning except he was spoiled, and his father had unreal expectations and didn't listen to him. And then, but he really didn't say much, and he was a jerk to Jake. And then at the end, though, he had, I mean, the whole last episode, which was the finale of the season, the whole episode was almost all him. It really, I'd say it was predominantly
And
him.
guess what? Since they didn't lay the foundation, it didn't work. Just like with another show, American Horror Story. Spoiler alert, in the second half, they have this group of
Young
weirdos.
people.
No, weirdos who are like probably some of the most obnoxious people on the planet. And they're so unlikable, like I wouldn't have cared if they were killed off the first episode they were on. Well, then, as this 4 episode half of the season went on, yeah, that's right, it's a 4 episode story. As it went on, they tried to make you care about them. And they were like, oh, aren't you upset that this character is getting killed? Aren't you upset that this character is suffering? It's like, no, I'm not, because you didn't lay the foundation. And if you don't have a foundation, you're not going to have a character that people care about. And with this show, I mean, who do you even care about? I don't care about anyone except for maybe like Andy, because he's a great actor and he got shortchanged once again. And it's like he's been through a lot throughout all the movies and everything. And honestly, like he's more likable than any of these main characters. Except for Lexi, I guess. But Lexi got shortchanged because she's a girl.
And so did her sister.
Yeah, her
Because
sister.
her sister was started off.
Caroline.
I never remember
Safi.
Caroline. At least I remember Caroline
Safi.
from Caroline Kennedy.
Do you want to know what's really retarded? They showed in the trailer Caroline talking to Chucky, and Chucky saying, "I'm gonna go kill your sister," and then she's like, "Okay, good night." They showed that in the actual trailer, and it's like,
Well, by the end of the series, though, she started off going strong, she and Lexi, and Lexi still remained strong until the end, but she just didn't get that many lines.
she
and
lost
didn't have
it
that-
all. She didn't have anything by the end because she's a girl.
Well, she was on the stage and she was with at the theater, and she was in the middle of a Chucky, who was at her back with a butcher knife, and in front of her was Junior
People have seen it
with the
Safi.
butcher
They've
knife.
seen it.
Well, I know that, but I mean that
No, you
was
don't.
it. And then her like trying to be reasonably talking to Junior, and of course that's when he has all his major. He may not show his character through his speaking voice because his speaking voice is so low. But in that episode, we already talked about this. He made about 10 facial changes, expressions, which reflected more of an acting bent than any of what he had to say.
It's not his fault. It's the director's fault.
I know, but but anyway, Lexi, that was it. And her sister had a couple of lines, and she had basically been turned into a robot.
Yeah, she was a robot, and we haven't even talked about the advertising for this show, like the shitty advertising, because
I don't know.
When this show was first announced, the first thing they announced was that the dad was going to be in it. You know, the dad and the stepdad. That was the first thing they announced. And so I was under the assumption that he would play a huge role in the season, and I was really excited to see him since he's a good actor. And instead, he's like hardly in it at all. And then the next thing they did was they released the synopsis, which I have right here. After a vintage Chucky doll turns up at a suburban yard sale, an idyllic American town is thrown into chaos as a series of horrifying murders begins to expose the town's hypocrisies and secrets. Meanwhile, the arrival of Chucky's enemies and allies threaten to expose the truth behind the killings, as well as the demon doll's untold origins, which it's not a demon doll at all, by the way. It's a person who possessed a doll, so that's completely false. And then a seemingly ordinary child who somehow became a notorious monster. So right there, they said this bullshit about this is an idyllic American town, and Chucky exposes all the town's secrets and hypocrisies.
It's just not
which
true.
is complete bullshit. That literally never happens at all. And then the thing about the demon doll's untold origins, and they only mention it as him being a child. And so I was expecting for him to be a child the whole season, and for it to build up to him being a killer by the end. I didn't know that they'd just end that after episode 3. And then they also released a teaser. And see, I'm looking this stuff up because I want to have it right in front of me. Because, look at this, Safi. Wait, here it is. It's a picture of Chucky standing in a supermarket for some reason. Like, look at that, Safi. What does that have to do with the show at all?
I have no idea.
Look at that.
It looks like a mall.
Look at that. He's just he's got a knife, of course.
Standing in front of a toy store, maybe? Or a restaurant.
He's standing and there's all these people outside or something. That was the promo. Chucky series teaser 2. Teaser. Doll horror. That was literally the teaser for the show. And it's a complete bunch of bullshit. Oh wait, no, it's fire. The town's like on fire. Look. It's on fire. So it's like, oh look, he's destroyed the town. He's taken over it like gremlins. Never happens.
No.
So right there.
There was a fire in Lexi's house, but not even, it was only partially burned. It wasn't burned.
Oh yeah, because the police got there just in time between episodes and we didn't even get to see it, of course.
Oh wait, there was also
because they don't have time.
The house exploded.
They don't have time, Safi.
His childhood house exploded.
Oh, well, that was set by Tiffany, though.
Tiffany.
That doesn't count.
Well, it wasn't a fire, it just...
Tiffany Quinn, because she's basically like Harley Quinn at this point.
Oh.
I mean, they're literally just kind of like ripping off all the storylines that she's had in the comics, where she gets tired of Joker, she wants to kill Joker, she leaves Joker, she gets in a lesbian relationship because she hates Joker. Like, it's really like, come on. Like, Tiffany has hated Chucky since Seed of Chucky, and then all of a sudden she likes him again. But that's a problem with Cult of Chucky and Curse. But still. So, Safi, what do you think about this season? I mean, it's disjointed. It's a mess. It has these stupid agendas in it. The kills are fake as hell. There's not really that many good kills. I'll say probably the best kills were the ones in the hospital. I thought that the hospital episode, if you just watched the hospital episode and didn't watch any others, it might be okay, because it was fun how it was like a tribute to all these other horror movies that took place in hospitals. But this season was a mess, Safi. I mean, the only reason why people like it is because they must be like teenagers or something. Because there's no way that grown-ass adults are watching this show and saying, wow, that's really smart television.
Yeah.
Right, Safi?
Yep.
What do you have to say, Safi? Say
Well, I
something.
was
You're
just
sitting
thinking.
there like a sick
Well, I'm
homeless
letting you
child.
talk. Well, I'm cold too.
Yeah, why don't you combat?
Anyway, I just thought, for one thing, it was one story, and then it turned into
Another.
another,
And
and
another.
then maybe another, and it was like they couldn't make up their minds what they wanted to settle on.
So it was like they wanted to do all the different things at once and then not have to do them again. Like, okay, we had our hospital episode. We had our episode where we're going to pretend like Jake is going to become a killer. And then he doesn't, of course, because gay people don't become killers, according to this show. Because
Well, we had a kid who he was a little bit bullied, but the bullying was more verbal, and it was Lexi bullying Jake. And then we end up, Brandon and Jake. They say they're gay, and there's nothing to tell me they're gay. And I'm thinking like, oh, they just don't like. Well, it's really Jake. They don't like him because they've just decided they don't like him, so they're going to say he's gay because for some reason that's some kind of a negative connotation. And
well, it
then
is.
all
It is. You know, people are. You know, that's a really basic insult to be like, you're gay, and then they're not really gay. Like it really has nothing to do with the sexuality aspect at all.
well, I know,
It's
and
just that people nowadays have turned it into that so that they can make themselves into victims all the time.
well, anyway, it's just so he's like nobody has no. It seems like he has no friends. I mean, I got mad about this. We talked about this, and he was in a bad way. And uh, recently, we have somebody in the family who's a teacher who saw two big girls bullying a little girl. So it does happen at school in
What are you
reality.
talking about,
Well,
Safi?
I'm just saying that
I
these
have no
things
idea what
do
you're talking
happen.
about.
And I
So,
was thinking, this kid, I mean, and in the show, he had his father beat him up and was horrible to him, and he didn't have any friends. He had
well,
no
but
support.
Safi, his dad would have accepted him if he had met Devin.
Oh, God.
That was
And
so
then all of a
retarded.
sudden it starts to change, and Devin and him,
They're suddenly gay.
they
They're
they
suddenly
said
gay for each
they
other.
are gay, apparently, and they do become close.
And
And
they do very normal things, like they go purposefully kiss right in front of a cross, and then they stand in the middle of their school in the hallways and block everyone's way so that everyone can know that they're gay for
but they
each
don't.
other.
But nobody says anything or does anything because the bullying and all of that discrimination suddenly disappeared.
Yeah.
And of course now Lexi, because of the thing with Chucky, Chucky threatens her and says he's going to kill her. And,
Lexi is kind of gay for herself
well,
sometimes.
yeah, she's very self-centered, but we all knew that. But anyway, she had been the biggest bully of all. That all changed. So
in one episode, and we didn't even get to see any change. It just happened because
yeah, it just happened.
and it's so hilarious because no one is really talking about how embarrassing it was in episode 3 when Chucky is right on top of her with a knife and he's about to kill her. The house is on fire and she's dead. I mean, if this was one of the old Child's Play movies back when the series had potential, well, I mean, back when it was made by talented people, I should say, she would have been dead. But instead, in the next episode, all of a sudden she just magically appears in a hospital, and Chucky
Not
just
a scratch on
magically
her.
disappeared, and all the other kids aren't even in the hospital except for Junior because he's a main character. And
Oh, in
it's
a way,
just
the little sister
oh
was,
yeah,
but
the little sister,
but she was in the line of fire.
they didn't
She
even
was right
show.
by the fire.
They didn't even show how they saved her, or how they saved anyone, or
No.
how they put out the fire,
No.
or anything. I mean, what a pathetic waste of time that was.
We did have one killing, and that was
Oliver.
another bully. He wasn't on for that long, but he wasn't that bad of a bully. He was, in other words, you didn't feel that threatened. You just felt, you know, bad because somebody was bugging you. I mean, if you got annoyed by it.
The whole potential of the show
But
was that Chucky is in this town with evil people, and he's gonna help Jake kill these evil people,
yeah.
and then by the end it's gonna be a huge mess that's basically unfixable, and then that's when Andy comes in. But instead, it just turned into Chucky kills people, and then Jake teams up with all the other people like it's it with Pennywise, and they form a little club, and they exclude Junior. So Junior gets upset, and he becomes the killer at the very end, which turned out is because he had to so that Chucky could do a voodoo spell that brings 72 Chucky dolls to life so that they can have a season 2. And that's when Andy comes to town, and he basically doesn't do anything the whole episode except for, like, look around, and then at the end he drives the Chucky dolls off, and that's when Tiffany's doll comes. I mean, you see how retarded this shit is? You see how messy and confusing and just not well written this was? I mean, this was not good. This was not good.
It just raced from because of the length, which I brought up at the very beginning. I believe the length of the season, the limited number of episodes, that I think they just jumped from thing to thing to thing to thing, topic to topic, situation to situation, and that's why it was so disjointed. And you just had these things pop up, and you had situations change, characters I mean, but you don't see the change. It just magically happens.
Yeah.
And this thing with Lexi is pretty bad because, I mean, the guy, Chucky had a butcher knife, and he was on her, and there was the fire, and I don't know, would that bother him? The smoke.
She was trapped on the floor.
Yeah,
and he was right on top of her.
And she gets away, but they don't even if that's true, if she was able to get away, nobody else has ever been able to get away. How'd she do it? And you don't see any of it. And I don't know if like there's hidden footage, what they call deleted footage,
deleted
or whatever,
scenes,
edited out.
Oh, I don't know, Safi. Those scenes might have overstayed their welcome with the show.
I just kind of doubt it, but I'm just trying to be generous.
Do you want the show to overstay its welcome?
Well, but it's just you have hopes.
Safi, statistics say that TV shows should only be 40 minutes long, and they should only be less than 10 episodes and have less than 5 seasons. But even 5 seasons is pushing it, Safi.
I wonder what Andy Griffith, the people that made Andy Griffith would have thought about that kind of...
Well, they would think that these
they made at least 23.
They would say these are a bunch of spoiled jackasses because, why would you ever want to turn down work?
But like I said, these limitations that were placed on the actors
and Safi,
the whole thing, it made for it to be the way it was.
Safi, let's be honest. These actors were terrible for the most part.
Well, but they were still, like you said, especially the kids. I mean, I know they're not little kids, except for the little sister, Caroline. But they still haven't had a lot of experience.
That doesn't matter.
And the only one who really showed any depth of any kind was Lexi. And then the little sister was
Lexi
until
was the best one.
Unless the little girl.
Guys,
we never know because she's turned into a robot.
Guys, it's so bad. This show is so bad that they managed to make the most likable character, the mean girl who bullies the main character and impersonates his dead father in a Halloween party
in front of everybody
and does all this shit
laugh.
to him. She is the most likable character in the whole season. Now, that's not good.
And I thought she did a really good job all the way through.
That's bad.
Even if she didn't have much at the end, everything she did a really good job.
What I would have liked is to see that bitch get what she deserved, which is Chucky stabs the shit out of her.
But it would have been a problem, though, because she's the only one who could act.
No, but Safi, then you didn't let me finish.
Okay.
But then, just like with Twin Peaks, they could bring her back is the same actress but with different colored hair, and they could say she's a different character,
Oh.
and she could be the new character, just like with Twin Peaks. And you could still have, because they did that with the Doctor. They had the Doctor from Cult of Chucky, and he suddenly in this show is the dad of Lexi. So they could have done the same thing for her, and you could have still had the same actress. That would have been so much better. Because what was the point of Lexi even existing? She's basically the equivalent of the gay best friend in all those 1990s movies that people hate and say, ew, gross. Nobody wants to see that. I mean, she's basically the third wheel to Jake and Devin. And Jake and Devin don't even make a good couple at all. It's really unnatural the way that it's portrayed. It's just kind of like forced in there so that they can say, look, we did something different. We had a gay relationship in this Chucky show. And then, this doesn't even scratch the surface of the show. You got things like that random Men in Black storyline with Andy and Kyle. And then you have, oh, you want to talk about disrespect, Safi? What do you think about what they did to Kyle? And how in the finale they had her final moment as a character, an iconic series favorite character. They had it to where she's so stupid that she goes to Chucky's childhood home and then she blows herself up and almost kills Andy and Devin too. That's her final moment as a character. I mean, that's unforgivable. Safi, you falling asleep?
No, I'm not. I'm just thinking.
I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to follow up
Well,
on that.
I
just said, like, they took that series favorite character and killed her off like a bitch. I mean, they do that all the time nowadays with these iconic characters. They'll take a really beloved character and they'll just kill them off like it's nothing in like a really disrespectful way. And I really don't like that, and I'm getting sick of seeing that too.
Well, the only other like promising character who they had, who was promising and interesting, was the science teacher, and she had nothing at all.
The biology teacher she got arrested and then she just disappears and then she reappears at the end of the graveyard.
She takes the kids to the cemetery, and basically, Jake is dead though. Not Jake.
Junior.
Junior's dead now.
They want to honor Junior.
He was.
Junior is basically He's the Harry Osborn from Spider-Man, in this show. That's basically what it is. Like, remember in Spider-Man 3 when he's bad, then he turns good at the end, but then he dies anyway. That's exactly what happened in this show with Junior.
Well, basically, but Jake, just think though, Jake and Devin, they're both orphans now, and and Jake doesn't even have an uncle.
Yeah.
He has nobody.
And
then Lexi has one parent because her father was killed in that theater.
Yeah, he was killed because Chucky stabbed him through a seat at the movie theater. I mean, guys,
none of those people were able to escape that.
I mean, listen.
Him stabbing from the bottom, which is odd.
I just don't understand. Like, I know that probably he would have suffered a lot of bleeding if Chucky had stabbed him where he stabbed him, but I'm just not sure if it would have killed him that instantly. I think it would have taken a while.
Yeah, that was a little bit fake.
I mean, he literally just stabbed him and he was automatically dead.
He was like playing whack-a-mole with the butcher knife from the bottom, which was odd.
That's not good. And then he didn't kill Caroline for some reason.
No, he always liked because Caroline liked him.
What do you mean, Safi?
Well, I just think they both liked each other. I think Caroline.
Yeah, but they never developed that though. They just kind of.
No, they don't. They just say it.
Yeah.
Say it a lot.
Which I thought that would have been a good storyline too if we had Caroline and Chucky as like a funny, like friends type of relationship, where it's like you have these two little characters that she's going around killing people with Chucky. That would have been pretty cool, honestly, if it had been revealed that she was helping him kill people the whole time or something. But Safi, let's talk about the dad. the uncle, actually.
What about him?
Let's talk about how he got killed too,
Well,
because
he fizzled out in the end.
he's another character who just got killed so easily, and it was so ridiculous because Chucky has never really faced a physical threat before. People throw him around, they toss him around, they pull his hair, they strangle him, they do all this stuff to him, but he's never really gone up against a real physical threat. And so how cool would it have been to see Chucky versus Jake versus Junior versus the uncle all at once, like a raw, brutal 1970s fight. That would have been so cool. That would have been like one of the highlights of the whole Chucky series. And instead, you have this retarded sequence where the athletic guy, the athletic uncle, he's drunk a little bit, and Junior just beats him up with the Chucky doll until he's dead. And then he sings to himself, like he's mumbling. And it's like, really? That's the ending for this character? Like, that's what we get? We don't get any fight at all? That would have been like the coolest moment of the whole series, to see this, to see them go against each other. What do you think about that? I mean, and also to have Jake come back, because Jake was really upset that he lost his own. So why wouldn't you want to have Jake to try to come to the rescue, and for the second one? Because then after he loses him, he doesn't even care, and it's like, oh.
Well, because they hardly paid attention to him.
Yeah, they treated him like he's invisible.
Yeah, he'd be in the room and they didn't even acknowledge his presence.
They had like one conversation at the dinner table, and that's it. And, Jake and Devin, their whole characters were basically that they're gay. They were basically just gay stereotypes. They didn't have anything else to their character. And once again, I'm going to repeat that being gay is not a character trait. So you need to have more to that than for the characters. So, Safi, anything else?
No, I just think that the root of the problems is that the length of the season was too short. There's not enough episodes, and I think it affects everything.
Yeah.
The story, the characters, the stories, the character arcs, everything that we mentioned that was a problem. And of course, if there are poor actors in it, which that's probably the case, then they needed to.
Oh, the music was bad too.
The music was
terrible.
I would say non-existent.
It was like a mix of pop music.
Well, I don't know what it was. I can't describe
copycat
it.
Music.
Trash.
Yeah, it's like, once again, this series has the greatest horror theme of all time. Has the greatest horror theme song of all time, and they couldn't use that. Instead, they had to use the Shining theme, and they had to use all these stupid pop songs that nobody likes, like songs by like these ugly modern girls who think they can sing, and they're just trash. And it's like, come on, can we get some music from talented people? Like the guy who made the music for the original movie, because that was good music. Even the second movie's music was good too. So that really pissed me off, the music for the show.
Yeah, so anyway, I think we should just give our review now, because I think we've pretty much pointed out the problems, the acting, the length of the series, the music, the direction, because I think for those kids who really haven't had a lot of experience, at least I've never seen them in anything.
They needed help.
They needed some more direction, and it's not a bad thing. I'm sure many actors have appreciated direction. Maybe they disagreed, but then maybe there was more of a exchange between the actors and the directors. But when you have kids like that who haven't had a lot of experience, they probably could have used some help. And if they didn't have any help, then they're just winging it, but they really don't know what they're doing. I really don't, and I don't think it's fair to them or to us, because we have to watch it, and that's what we're left with. That's what we're stuck with. So anyway, I gave it now, just to be clear, on each episode we gave a grade, and but for a season we treat a season kind of like a movie. And what we do with movies is we rate in terms of food. That's
Food.
why we call Safi and Marco dish out on the movies, because we're dishing out a food rating.
Another thing that's funny to me is that people are always like, "Why are you guys so mean?" And it's like our channel is literally called "Dish Out on Movies." You like to dish out means you say you talk you roast a movie or a TV show. It doesn't mean you sit there and you know just say, "Oh my God, this is the greatest show of all time. It's so good. Oh my God, I can't wait for next week. It's amazing. The kids are amazing. Everything's amazing." Ah!
Well, if it's good, I'll say it's good, but if
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not going to pretend like it was. It's not
Yeah,
fair.
I don't
And
like
it's
the
not right.
pretending.
It's not fair to the people who made the show. If you're giving them fake reviews saying that's good when it's not, that you're not helping them. You're not helping to better what we're seeing. You know, we lead busy lives. I am so busy, and
Well, nobody cares about that.
well,
Stuff.
I know that, but people, when they watch something, they want it to be worth their while. And if they're doing streaming where they're paying for things to see, they want it worth their while. Even when they go to the movies and they're paying a huge sum for food and to watch the movie, they want it to be worth their while. They don't want to see crap. And it's the same with streaming and anything, and just their time and principle. And it's especially now, this is the holidays. I have about 3 million things to do. And I want to see, and especially if you appreciate horror and you want to see a good horror show, and it turns out like this, and and you're very disappointed, and you're like, why did I even bother? But I mean, we're reviewers. We're going to finish watching, however it turns out. And I mean, we're obligated to do that because we made a commitment to do that. And we do have reasonable expectations. I mean, I had mine really low.
And you guys saw that we both liked the show. Well, Safi didn't. I liked it as it started out. Safi kind of liked it,
Well,
but she
I
had
liked it, but I
problems.
didn't like the bullying.
She had a negative feeling, which, by the way, that was the whole point. Was that at first you had this really fantastic build-up.
Well, they did. They did a good job showing a horribly
seeing
negative bullying build-up.
an outsider and all these horrible people who deserve to get killed by Chucky. And then what happens? They don't get killed by Chucky, of course, because
it's like they climbed a mountain and then they fell off the mountain.
Yeah.
And they rolled down the side of the hill like Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water.
No, Safi, do you know what it's like? It's like that downhill movie. Remember that movie I forced you to watch last year? You know, the one with Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
I don't like that at all.
I don't know why I liked that movie, but I liked it when I watched it, but now I don't like it at all.
Please.
I just
They
thought
did not go together at all.
I
I don't
thought
want to
that
talk
it was-
about that again.
I thought that it was fun.
I didn't like it.
But it's like with that movie where, you know, things started off pretty good and then they just completely went downhill on purpose. So Safi, what'd you rate it?
Okay, well, I
food?
rated it.
A Twinkie.
I don't eat Twinkies.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
you do. I see you
I
sneaking
don't.
them all the time.
Marco's lying. I can't eat anything sweet
I saw-
anymore. It
you
makes me
ate-
sick.
You ate a whole box of Twinkies in one sitting.
Marco's lying. I can't eat anything
How do they know if
that
I'm
has
lying or
fat
not?
in it because I had my gallbladder removed. And if
Oh,
that ever
shit.
happens to you,
Safi,
if that ever happens to you in your life, yeah, you'll get rid of the pain. If you have these massive painful attacks where you're so sick you can't get rid of the pain, then but the problem is when you have it out, that's gone. That's great. But then when you eat anything that has fat in it, then you pay.
everything has fat in it, Safi.
Well, some things have more fat than others. So anything sweet,
Yeah, like you.
anything sweet, can't eat it. It makes you
Yes, you
very
can.
ill. Just in a very, very tiny amount. So it's a great way to not, if you want to lose weight. And well, of course, I didn't have any problem with my weight, but still. So anyway, I rated it. Let's say you make some Jello. I don't know if anybody makes Jello nowadays. It's a good thing to have sometimes, just for something different. You can put fruit in it. You could put carrots and fruit and coconut and you can do all kinds of things with Jello. You can make these molds and make really cool molds that look like different objects. And then you make whipped cream, which I do. I buy Cool Whip for certain desserts, but I basically homemade whipped cream, which means buying a container of whipping cream and then you whip it up, and you have to whip it up. It's very tricky because if you over whip it, it turns to butter. If you under whip it, this is what happens. So if you have it falls. So let's say you make a Jello, and you make the whipped cream to go on top because people like to eat whipped cream and Jello.
What's the gayest flavor of Jello, Safi?
It falls, and it's real stiff at first. The whipped cream is stiff. The Jello is stiff, and then the next day it's watery, and the whipped cream is almost between something stiff and something like it was before you whipped it. And then the Jello is soupy, and so everything.
So what flavor though? Because this has to be the gayest flavor of Jello to fit with the Chucky series.
Oh, I don't know. I guess it'd be cherry.
Cherry's the gayest.
But cherries. I mean, I don't know what gay in terms of Jello would be.
I don't know. Come up with it.
Well, I haven't had Jello in a while, but cherry. The main flavors are like cherry and orange.
I think
and lime.
that sugar-free Jello is gay because it's like really.
Yeah, really.
It's only like 10 calories a Jello pack, and you have to have sugar-free as well. You're gonna have a lot of diarrhea after you eat that.
Well, yeah, I agree. Why? That's stupid. People, yeah, that's true. People eat Jello because they think they're gonna not have a lot of calories. But why even do that?
Yeah, why bother?
Just eat Jello if you like the taste and you want to eat whipped cream with it or something. But don't worry about calories in Jello. It's silly. You're not gonna get a lot of calories. So anyway, a fall in whipped cream almost really basically, because the series started out pretty solid. And this is what happens if you don't whip the whipped cream and good enough, but not to where it's going to be butter, it will fall. And I had that happen actually at Thanksgiving. I didn't. I did. I think it was the second time I made some whipped cream because I didn't make enough for the whole pie, and it fell. And the next day, and it wasn't too bad, but it wouldn't have been like that. And that's the way I would describe the series as whipped cream and Jello that both fell and did not maintain their shape and their it even affects the flavor a little bit because it just doesn't turn out the way it should. So that would be the series.
And then you spill it on the floor like you did with the alien slime drink when we were trying to do the X-Files review.
Well, there was no slime. It was just water. It didn't work
that
out.
Was
we have
bad,
to do that.
Safi.
We're going to have to try that again and get a different recipe.
For the binge buffet of season 2. Okay, anyways.
What do you say, Marco?
Well, I just came up with some chicken McNuggets. Because I used to love chicken McNuggets as a kid. I like to get chicken McNuggets with barbecue sauce. Mm-hmm. And then I like the barbecue sauce because I could use it to dip the French fries and the nuggets into it. And so I like that you don't have to have two different sauces. It can just be one sauce. And I really used to like them. And then at one point, something really gross happened, which, Safi, you remember? Number one, Safi got me the wrong order because I was a kid. She got me the wrong order, and she got me a 3-piece nugget Happy Meal. She didn't get 10, which is what I usually wanted to get. So I was already pissed off it wasn't 10. But then I opened up the 3 nuggets, and one of them was so gross. I'm not even kidding. It's probably the grossest thing I've ever seen. I don't even know what it was. But one of the nuggets had this black stuff inside it. It looked like a protruding, like there was some sort of a black formation inside of it, and it looked like I don't even know. I can't even put my finger on or even begin to think what it could have been, but it was so disgusting. It made me like never want to eat McDonald's again, because it was like, what is that? It's like this black, like, I don't think someone put their underpit hair or any other type of hair in it. But I don't know what it was. It must, like, I don't know, like, how that passed through the quality check too. Like, how did they take that nugget out of the frozen package or whatever, and then say, yeah, let's fry it, put it in the fryer, and let's keep also in mind they gave that to a kid's Happy Meal. And so just imagine if a kid had eaten that and bitten into whatever that was. I mean, what was that, Safi? Was that like a brain or like a tumor or something? Like, what was that? I mean, that's how gross it was. That's what this show did with episode 4, the hospital episode. And then I kind of came back around to McDonald's after I saw that Founder movie, because the Founder movie really made me like appreciate McDonald's a lot more, seeing like the history of it and seeing like how it used to be like a really revolutionary fast food place, and it wasn't necessarily unhealthy food. Uh, and then over time, I finally tried the chicken nuggets again, and they were bad. That they changed them, so now they're like really gross, and they're nowhere near as good as they used to be, and they're really gross. Like, I don't even want to eat them at all. So now it's like, okay, they're gone. I never want to eat chicken McNuggets again. I'll just go to Wendy's and get spicy nuggets or get regular nuggets from them, because they have some good nuggets. So what do you think of that, Safi?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway,
what was that black thing, Safi?
I don't know, Marco. It's gross. We haven't had lunch yet, so can you stop?
I'm not being racist. I'm serious. It literally was like this. Like, you have a chicken nugget. The meat is supposed to be white. It's white meat. And then you have this big, like, black, like, formation inside of it.
Maybe it was a bug.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because then I ate, like, half of it, or I started to...
oh,
okay.
God, Marco.
No, I ate the half where the black thing wasn't in. But I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. I think we should move on. Anyway, what are we going to be reviewing next, Marco? Could you tell them?
Well,
it is Christmas time. Aren't we going to do any Christmas movies?
Safi, you got to get with the program. You delayed the channel. I don't know. We have to have Safi catch up on everything. And then after that, I guess we'll start reviewing Christmas movies.
I hope so, because Christmas is,
maybe
3 weeks away.
Something with Richard Thomas or something. Like, we could have like a special episode. Okay. We have to eat. Safi bought some Curse of Chucky knives from CVS.
And he'll put this on. I hope he can put this on the thumbnail.
They're candy knives, and they're cherry flavor. And they were
cute.
They were made for the movie Curse of Chucky, which I hate. I hate that movie. So, Safi, I'm gonna grab one, and then you grab one, and we'll eat it and try it.
Okay. Okay. Here's a knife. It's pink too, by the way. It's really cute.
You can't. Don't bite down on it. Oh, Safi. Yeah, it just tastes really.
Doesn't have much flavor.
Tastes like a Tums.
Doesn't even taste like that.
Oh God, it doesn't have much flavor at all. Oh.
Just a very faint trace of, I guess, cherry.
Especially when you bite into it, it immediately takes away all the flavor.
It's like chalk. Green pink chalk.
It's like a sugarless fruit drink. God, what a mistake.
Hardly any flavor at all.
Oh,
It kind of tastes like chalk.
yeah, there's hardly any flavor. And,
Pink
oh,
chalk.
I don't like that.
Okay.
But they smell good.
They do smell
them.
really good.
Yeah.
Probably because they're all together in a group. There's probably 50, 60 here. But you can put that in the thumbnail. It is a cute little thing. They had it out for Halloween. I saw it somewhere else too. I think I saw it at CVS and Target. And they were gone really fast.
So Safi?
So everybody, if you like this video, so to speak, press the like button. And we also love subscribers. So if you would like to subscribe to our channel and listen to more reviews of, well, things here and there, like a lot of horror,
Richard Thomas movies.
well, I don't know about that, but a lot of different things, then press the subscribe button because we love new subscribers. So, bye everybody.
Bye.